What's up, guys? Here we go again. Here we will talk about the closer range military build. Actually, this build is focusing on the DBS as primary thing, and you will be able to melt anyone come close to you in a range of 10 meters or to 15 meters. So this build is very useful in PVE and PvP um, regarding this map. Right now we'll go to the build. As you can see, we have 8,149 firearms. We have the toughness about 3,600 and the skill power about 3,084. In batch 1.6, the thing changed regarding the toughness thing. Right now, stacking toughness is not useful as before because the armor is no longer talent you can put it on your gear. So the main thing you wanna do when you doing your build is to go for DBS or skill power. Right now we are dealing with the DBS thing, and you must stock as much as you can health on your gear pieces. Right now we'll go for the MP7. I'm using MP7 SMG. Right now the critical hit chance on it is 21. If you got something more than that, you can up it to 23%. So it depends on you what you have got. And I think from 2 weeks or 3 weeks the blueprint was on. You can buy the blueprint. So if you have the blueprint already, try to craft a good one for you. The talent on this weapon is responsive. Damage is increased by 10% when closer than 10 meters to the target. This is the most important talent on this weapon because most of the time your encounters with other players and NPCs will be on a close range to get the benefit from this build. The next talent, I roll deadly. Critical hit damage is increased by 15%. This is also a very important talent to have on your SMGs. And the last one is unforgiving. Unforgiving missing health segments increase your damage. One missing segment 10%, two missing segments 25%. So you are dealing 10% when you have two segments and 25% when you have one segment of health. The attachments on this weapon, I goes for critical hit damage instead of critical hit chance. Why? Because this is the most faster RPM on the game. I'm talking about the MB5. It's basically comes with 950 and you can up it until 1002. So I goes for critical hit damage because when you hit this bullet and deal more critical hit damage, it's more sufficient to you than stocking on critical hit chance and dealing less critical hit damage. So the muzzle I goes for loud vent muzzle. Break it's 17% critical hit damage, optimal range by 5%, headshot damage by 6%. We goes for under barrel. We have also critical hit damage 19%. Stability is 2.5 and optimal range by 5%. Extended magazine also I got this one with high rate of fire 5.1%. And the optic is pro red dot sight, have the critical hit damage 18%, accuracy 2%, and critical hit chance by 2.5%. If we go to the weapons, we will see that the basic damage of this weapon is 17,441. The critical hit chance is 27%, but the critical hit damage is 110%. This is a good thing to have on SMG. And of course, the headshot damage is 56%. We have accuracy stability. We will talk about it a little later. It's 38%. This is a good thing to have on any gun you are running with, especially if you want to go with the assault rifles. Right now, we goes back to the second slot of weapon. I'm using the historian. The historian is a very, very, very good marksman rifle for PVE and PvP. Why? Because if you shot the NPCs on their legs and the players on their legs, there is a stagger with explosion of the bullets. So this is very good talent if you wanna kill the rushers like the shotgunners in the missions or stuff. This is a very, very good talent to have on your assault on your marksman rifle, and the rate of fire is very high. It's 300 RPM, so you will be able to spam a lot of bullets before reloading. The talents on this one is brutal. Headshot damage is increased by 12%. We have deadly also regarding the critical hit damage, and of course the special talent of the weapon is each bullet embeds itself in the target and detonate 1 second later by 700% of your firearm total. So we have 8,149. We are talking about an extra damage about 54 or 55k extra damage from the explosion. This is a good trade. The attachment on this one is the regarding the muzzle. We have the headshot damage is 18.5, the critical hit damage is 4, and the optimum range 4.5. The optimum range exact on this on the historian by far is very, very good, the basic one. So the you don't want any extra optimal range on this one because the range is very good already. The magazine goes for the rate of fire, critical hit chance, and the magazine size, of course. The optic is an extra range 22.5, headshot damage, and critical hit chance. The basic damage of this weapon is 48. Actually, I got this one from the vendor in the hub. If you got more, if you got another one drops by the boss or some, you will get more basic headshot damage. So will be very, very useful. The critical hit damage is 60%, and the headshot damage is 187%. Right now, we goes back to the gear. We have, of course, the right now the situation on 1.6. You need to stock on health. So I have the high-end Spec Ops armor with vigorous on it, grant overheal to all healing skill. So if you are stationed on the ground or you heal yourself overdose, this will give you an extra overheal to your character. This is important right now because the toughness and the health is not running as same as in patch 1.5, so you need overhealing always. Uh, this one I stuck on the DBS by the firearm. I used to modify it, so I got the firearm up a little bit. It has on major attitude all resistance 4%, armor damage 5.5%, and ammo capacity. You can, if you got another one with DBS on it, you can roll out the major attitude, the 4% all resistant by something useful than this one. Uh, I have the prototypes on it. I have stamina, skill haste, stamina, skill haste. So I'm focusing a little bit on the health to make it up and make my character actually more endure. Right now, we will go to the mask. I'm using ferro oxygen mask with DBS on it. Enemy armor damage 7%, burn resistance 16%. This is a good minor attribute right now regarding the burn resistance, because most of the time you will face a turret or an explosion. You need to run, you need to keep shooting while you are burning. So this is a good must have uh, mask actually, and if you have a good one, use it. The prototype is stamina, of course, with signature ability resource gain by 3%. We will go right now to the backpack. I'm using a striker backpack, and this is the most important thing you must pay attention to. The major attitude on the attribute on this one is stability. Stability is good for any kind of weapon you want to run. For example, I have here with me the lightweight M4. You know, on consoles, using assault rifle is very tricky if you don't have the stability needed to control it. So the most important thing to have on your backpack is the stability. It will help you controlling your weapons more easily, especially on console. So this one is a striker. It has firearm roll on it, stability and ammo capacity, and of course I run on a skill haste electronic to up a little bit my electronics. I have pulse critical hit chance and pulse critical hit chance for the performance modes. The next one is the gloves. The gloves, I'm running a striker gloves with DBS on it, skill haste, critical hit damage, and enemy armor damage by 7.5%. This is good gloves for any kinds of weapon you want to use. But if you want to go with this build with shotguns, I have another pair of gloves had a shotgun damage on it with a skill haste. If you want to go with healing and stuff, you can get the health on kill. It's very useful in PVE, and of course there is a skill haste on it. The other one is skill haste, SMG, and SMG damage and assault rifle damage. So this is a good one for using assault rifle and SMGs. And if you can see, the DPS is not very much changes, and also the health is still in the same range. So right now, the two striker piece will give you an extra 20% stability. This is, as we said, um, a good talent to have to control your weapons very easily on console, especially on computer it's not a big deal, but on console is very important. uh, we go to the holster. I'm using numble holster with heal 2% of maximum health for every 1 meter run in cover to cover during combat. This is a good talent. Actually, they will edit it in the new patch, but you can use this one. You can use also a striker a holster. But the most important thing to have on your holster is the reload speed, because reload speed will up your DPS by a huge amount. So you need the major attribute on your holster to be reload speed. I have it here 20.5%. And of course the performance mode is first aid self healing by 5.5%. This is a good talent to have on your holster. Of course, we can go with striker. I have another one here, striker reload speed. If, as you can see, if I equip this one, what we have here is an extra 10% damage, enemy armor damage. So you are dealing, basically you are dealing more damage to your opponents, uh, and destroying their armor very quickly. And right now the armor, the medicate of damage is a little bit lower, so you will feel that this is, you are hitting very hard on your enemy. uh, Regarding the knee baz, I have this one actually with a higher DPS and a higher armor. You can go for any one you want, uh, but keep an eye on your DPS, because you need something not giving you more toughness and making your DPS down. So this is the one I have right now. It has health on it. It has disturb, bleed, and bear resistance. Uh, Going as you noticed, I stuck on burn very much because I need to be able to shoot. The fair mask is give me the ability to shoot even if in burning situation, but I don't want to get damaged too much. So I stock on burn. You can stock on shock, for example. Is up to you. Right now we will look at the abilities. I'm running Pulse. The Pulse recomp pack is the Pulse has an increased range and is capable to locating nearby loot containers. This for PvE, I run it for PvE. For PvP, I goes for Scrambler, because you don't want to be pulsed while you are shooting on people because of the critical hit damage. But if you pulse someone, you will be able to get an extra critical hit chance 11% and an extra critical hit damage by 7.6%. This one will give you 12.4% critical hit chance and 8.9% critical hit damage. So it's up to you. For healing, I'm using overdose, of course, regarding, because I'm using the vigorous chest piece. This is a very useful and must have talent on your arsenal. Regarding the talents, I'm using, of course, uh, this one, a critical save, using a medkit in the last segment of health. And this is unimportant because people using it maybe in the second segment, or before getting to the last segment. If you use the medkits in the last segment, it will give you 20% resistance for all kinds of damage. This is a good talent actually. The next one is strike back. Reach low health to reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. So we are talking about cooldown, uh, getting back your skills more faster by 20%. This is a good thing, and considering we have a low um, skill power. We goes for the next talent is headshot a hostile to pulse them for 10%, 10 seconds. It's very important talent for SMGs actually. to have the critical hit chance pop up and to deal your huge critical hit damage, what we the one you have on your SMGs right now. The last one I'm using is one is none. Headshot a hostile to have a 50 chance of non-consuming the bullet. This is a must have if you using MB7, because the MB7, as you noticed, has only the magazine size is only 42 bullets. Right now, this situation is only for 1.6. In 1.61, the extended magazine will be 120%. The maximum roll of it is 120%, I think, or 123%, something like this. So, uh, for now, you can use this one. If the thing fixed and the magazine is more like we are talking about 60 rounds or some, you don't need to use one for none. You will go for maybe this one, because nimble, you are using nimble, so you will go for tactical advance. Complete a cover to cover move to increase weapon damage by 2% per meter covered by 5 seconds. So let's say you run for 10 meters, your weapon will deal an extra 20% more damage. So if you run from cover to cover towards the enemy, pop up your pulse, start shooting on people. This talent is very important because you are dealing an extra 20%. If you are talking about 10 meters, an extra between an extra 15 or 20%, and you have already on your weapon the talent, this one, what's called this one, responsive damage is increased by 10%. So you are dealing an extra about an extra 30 or 35% or 25% most of the time. So this is a good talent to have. um, that's it for this video. Actually, before I go, as you can see, this build is not for specified kind of weapons. You can go for assault rifle, as you can see, it's ready to use. You can go for shotguns also. It's ready to use. It's up to you, and is capable to suit any kind of playstyle. Thank you for watching. As usual, stay classy, play safe, peace, and out.